Hello teacher, Assalamu alaikum. This is Sir Abid Kazmi, and I am recording this video so that I can have some general meeting. I had general meeting with the team QBHS, and I'm recording this for a formal record, and also to share with other schools so that I can orientate some of the instructions that are some kind of adjustment due to the time constant in the final term, and some of the things that was already there but there is misconception or misunderstanding about them. So I want you, all of you, to please watch this video, stop it where you have confusion, and keep writing the points somewhere so that you can follow them in the coming term. Okay, let's start the presentation. And here I always start this with the vision, because in the context we are working, we should keep on looking at our vision, otherwise we can be distracted, because there are some other force fields like parents pressure, society pressure, curriculum. We always forget about what we started, what was our destination. So if we keep on revisiting our vision, it will help us to align our practices to achieve our goals. So the vision that we set sometimes back, it is quite simple. We strive to develop contributing individuals who believe in the value of mathematics and can think, reason, and calibrate mathematically. So whenever we are in classroom, we should always be thinking that whatever I am doing, either I am teaching multiplication or I am taking algebra, so we should be promoting the true mathematics so that student can start believing in it, that like mathematics is for solving problems, it is not a problem itself. So how to multiply, how to factorize, these all are secondary objectives. Though in society, as the norms prevail in the society, they become a primary objective of mathematics teaching in our context. But we have to be more focused on the value of mathematics, like a student understand why I am learning this and how can I use it and why it is useful for me to learn this. So this is very important. So whatever you are teaching, just keep this vision in your mind so that you can align your practices accordingly. Okay, so we had some analysis about what we did in the final term. Those who are watching me in this video, I would recommend you to go through a SWOT analysis by your own self. It could be done individually. Like think about the strengths that were in the term, like in your students or in your own teaching or in your own personality. What were the strengths and what were the weaknesses in the final term? Then look for opportunities which were there, and then threats. To make it easier, just then, threats and weaknesses are some internal factors, like my weakness is my strengths, so you can note down some of the points about it. And then you have opportunities and threats that are external factors, like what were the opportunities in the first one. For example, you can say there was IXL or there was illustrative mathematics, that I can improve my own learning, I can improve my own mathematics by reading those lesson plans and going through the process. So these could be one of the threats that is external. And the threats are time constraints, curriculum completion, parents pressure, copy work, and a lot more things that could be external threats. So you can write them down so that you can come up, use the opportunities to deal with challenges and weaknesses, right? So do it by yourself, it will be very productive for you. For now, I am moving forward. Okay, the first thing which is at the heart of our conversation and communication, it is a scheme of work. So we have developed a scheme of work. So what you need to do, you know the link of a scheme of work. If you don't, I will mention this in the description of this video too. You can find it out there. What is written? Filling content coverage is a scheme of work on a weekly basis. So it is very important for all of us to keep us aligned with the time constant, like what time is allocated for which objectives. So I am meeting those timelines or not. If I am not doing it, it might be difficult for me at the end of the term. So make sure you are filling it weekly basis and making sure that you are completing all the objectives within the given time, right? But ideal situations are not always there. So the second point comes in. If you are having difficult time meeting the timelines mentioned in the scheme of work, so what you need to do, you simply are responsible to generate an alert in groups, in your lesson planning groups. You should say, sir, it is mentioned in the next week these 2 or 3 lesson plans will be delivered, but it does not, I cannot comprehend it how we can deliver these 3 lessons in this limited time. So before that week starts, you have discussion in group, and I will let you know how you can do it. And if there is something I have misunderstood, so I will make adjustment in the scheme of work, right? So must you are responsible to either complete those plan in the week, or you have to generate an alert before the week starts. All the third point is all the SLOs mentioned in the schemes are mandatory for you to cover in the term, because in the final term assessment, what we will do, we will take all the objectives that are mentioned in the scheme of, regardless of the school, regardless of your practice, and we make assessments accordingly. So if you miss any of the objective, your student might struggle in the assessment, and it will be a troublesome for all of us. So make sure you are achieving all of them. Okay, I would like to show you the scheme of work here also, so that there is no confusion. So this is our scheme of work. I can show this to you, like I am mentioning each and every detail in this scheme of work, so that you can easily follow, and you can follow it. Like for example, there is a timeline. I have mentioned the timeline weekly basis, because when we have IXL, 2 period IXL and 3 period classroom, so I cannot allocate a day wise, so I have allocated week wise coverage. Like in the first week of January, because there is PTM 5 and 6, so I have recorded 2 weeks. In 1 to 12, what you need to complete? You need to complete lesson number 8, 9, 11, 12 and 13. You see, we have selected some of the lesson plan that you need to deliver. You need not to deliver all the lesson plans, so be sure that you are following it, so that you are covering all the necessary SLOs or objectives we have selected for the term. Okay, and here are the objectives, and here are the number of days that are allocated to these lesson plans. For example, for this lesson plan, which is lesson number 8, and it is its objective, so you will be given 2 days. 2 days will be given to it, right? Here it is, and no day is allocated. It means it will be directly covered through IXL skill, and this plan will not be implemented in classroom. No classroom time is given to it, right? So this is how you will just look at, okay, from 1 to 12 January I need to cover all of these lesson plans. So you just open these lesson plans. I'm not discussing how to open it, because you know well. So you will open all of these lesson plans and see whether you will be able to complete them in this time period. If you don't think, then share, generate a alert in the group. Otherwise, follow it. And when the weeks complete, for example on 12th January, or when the week complete, so you need to fill in your name, these are all the names of the teachers teaching in this grade. For example, grade 4, so you will select one of the option. Completed as planned, matlab as per the time, it was given 2 days, and within 2 days it was completed or not. Okay, fine, completed, but took more days. It took more days, ek se zyada din lage. I would say mention somewhere why it took more days, so that we can make better adjustment or make a more achievable scheme of work in the future. In progress, more days required than planned, and not yet started, which is already, right? So you need to select one of it, right? So you will be doing on weekly basis. Everything is mentioned in this, and even I have mentioned the skill codes here. So you are not supposed to take skills from IXL. I am repeating again, the skills are mentioned here. At the end of the term, or at the end of the unit, I will take the data from these skills, and I won't ask what skills have you assigned. I will just take it and make data or assessment evaluation according to these skills. Okay, let's move to the next slide of ours. Okay, so now we have IXL skills. So skills mentioned in the scheme of work are compulsory. As I mentioned, I have mentioned the skills in the action plan, so you need to do those skills, and you should not take skills from IXL. It is not limited that you're only taking those skills. The skills that are mentioned are compulsory. You can also take other skills as per the requirement of your class, or of your any individual student or group of students, right? So make it clear. The second point is, skill must be completed before end of the unit. It should not be the case like when the terms end, you are asking me, or you're asking a student, okay, we are giving you 2 or 3 more days, just complete all the skills you did not. What you need to do, you will do the same practice, but not at the end of term, but at the end of unit, right? When the unit ends, you will ask them, okay, I'm giving you 1 day or 2, complete all the skills, then I will take out the data, and after that if you complete those skills, that's good, but marks will not be allocated if there is any marks of it, right? So it will help you in the unit assessment, the student would have better practice on real-time basis, and they will not procrastinate and complete the skills to be completed at the end of the term. So it will help you both ways. So keep on notified, like you have these skills not complete, please complete them on time. So if you keep on reminding, they will complete it on a timely basis, and it will be more beneficial for them. Okay, the next must assign skills to, okay, do not ask them to write code and search it by own self on IXL. You can do it, it's a good practice, but you will also assign it from IXL so that we, head office or any leader, can see what skills have you assigned and what is the performance of the students. They can easily watch your data. So make sure you are properly assigning skills by looking for, just search for the skill. For example, let me do it how you will do it. This is the skill, for example. Great. And I'm going to IXL, just search this skill. The skill will in front of you, simply open it, and here you will have star symbol. Because I am logged in from the admin account, it is not showing. Just hover your mouse there and it will show you the your classes, then assign to all your classes simply. So you will assign each skill from IXL from your own teacher's account. Okay, so this is all about IXL skills. The third comes in the lesson plan usage. As you know, I am not discussing it in very detail because otherwise it will be very large video. In each of the phases of illustrative maths lesson plan, you will find 3 steps or 3 phases maybe. Either it is a unit, or it is a lesson plan, or it is an activity. When it is an activity, you will have 3 phases. For example, you will launch the activity, then student will work, and you will then synthesize. It has 3 steps. When it comes to lesson plan, so you will find in each lesson 3 steps. Start with warm up, then classroom activities for concept development, and then the cool down and lesson synthesis. If you talk about complete chapter, you will find 3 steps or 3 phases. Starting lessons are introductory lessons, then there are lessons for instructional deepening concepts, and then the culmination and application and everything is in the later plans. So what I am going to try to make you understand is that, like, when you are developing any lesson plan, because there is a time disparity, so what is necessary, you will follow these 3 phases. Whenever you go to the class, you always start with the warm up and then do 1 or 2 activity according to your time, and then go with the cool down. Cool down and warm up are necessary things for each classroom period, and it will be sandwiched between activities. So what will happen if there are more than 1 activity? So what will you do? You will simply do 1 activity, and you will start with warm up and then do 1 activity, and then if time is not there, you will simply give them the cool down. If a student is easily attempted it, okay, you can leave the other activity if you do not have time and move on to the next lesson plan. If you think students are not performing well on that cool down, then you will come to the next day, you will have a similar sort of warm up, and then you will go with the activity that you left yesterday, and then again ask them to do the same cool down and make corrections if there is any. Then you will move forward. So it will work in this way. Okay, so assessments are as important as our input. So there are multiple phases of assessment. I could there are 3 basic types of assessments. Assessment of learning, assessment for learning, or assessment as learning. Assessment as learning might be something you might have not heard before, but this is you are in practice using it. I will discuss everything. So here we have some options: cool down, IXL skills, section checkpoints, unit assessment and projects, and terminal assessments. So cool down and IXL are those who are of sort of assessment for learning, because you are giving a cool down at the end of each day to make sure that your students have got what was in the plan and they are able to perform in the next plan. So it is not for grading, it is for their learning. So it is assessment for learning. And IXL is also a sort of assessment for learning, because student can keep on making mistakes, having feedback, and then improve. So it is a sort of assessment for learning. It has nothing to do with their grading. Then it comes to the checkpoint. On on illustrative mathematics, you will find sections of 4 or 3 lessons, and after each section you can find a checkpoint that you can take questions from and make a Google form, and you can have a short test. Even you can take a test in IXL period, or you can give them homework, and they will give you a feed data to make sure that whatever was in that particular section of the unit, student have grabbed it. So it is optional, it is not necessary, but it is very productive if you use it for your understanding of your students' achievement. Then it comes to unit assessment. It is compulsory. Unit assessment, it is necessary like an exit ticket from one unit to another. Whenever you are leaving any unit, you are making sure that students have completed IXL skills. Now you are taking a test. It could be a paper pencil test, it could be a IXL quiz, or it could be a project, like a student work on project and they submit and you reward them score. So this is one thing. And the last thing is terminal assessment, which is at the end of the term, which will be made using all the skills that are in scheme of work and all the skills that are from the lesson plans that we have selected in a scheme of work. So we will be making data from unit assessment and terminal assessment, and all of these features are for assessment for learning. What is assessment of learning? Assessment as learning, I will share in the remaining slides. Copy work. Copy work is one of the very important and understood feature or instruction of our department. Maybe what is necessary to be in maths copy of our students? Evidence about the first point, evidence about the explorations, activities and assessments that are performed in the classroom. As you know, we have activity based learning. So whatever activity students are doing, what was that activity, what was the outcome, what was the generalized formula, and what was the practice, everything should be in their copies. If there is a resource book have all the instructions in their resource book, so it is easy to keep record of. But where the resource books are not available as of now, so you will make it just provide them the soft version of a book, and then they will be mentioning the references from the book and recording what their findings in their copies. The second thing which is in the copy is cool down. The cool down questions are compulsory be in their copies. Like this was the question what was given at the end of the lesson, and it was like which teacher checked whether students have achieved the SLO of the day, right? Filled SLO sheet of each unit. This is what is assessment as learning. When students are learning, so they are assessing their own learning, like how students are performing, how am I performing. So SLO sheet must be pasted, the format is shared with all of you, and you're making sure students are filling them according to their own understanding, so that they are providing data to you that I am having confusion in this particular SLO, so that you can work before the unit assessment or before you leave the unit to start the another unit. Okay, date and topic with each work, where resource books are available, topics are mentioned, so mention dates, and otherwise both of these should be mentioned. Checked units assessment. Whenever we are taking assessment, whether it is a project or it is a paper pencil test, make sure you check it, record somewhere. I will share you the format where you need to record the data, and then you will paste that test with the unit in their resource book or in their copy, so that everyone has record that this was the test which was taken and these were the errors which were highlighted by the teacher, and now students can improve using those errors for the final term. Okay, so these all are the things that are compulsory in maths copies or resource books. Now what we need to do for copy work and what are our responsibilities as teachers? The teacher checks students copies within every 7 days. Whoever in charge or whoever coordinator is helping teachers we have to make sure that teachers have enough time in every week that they can check students copies, so their workload should be accordingly. If the workload is not accordingly, teachers are invited to please talk and share your workload, what exactly you are doing, where your time is invested. So if there is something that we ask you not to do and your time is invested there, so I will suggest you to stop doing it. But please, it is your responsibility to fulfill this requirement, and if there is any difficulty, please do share with all the stakeholders. Okay, but it is mandatory you check each and every copy every 7 days, right? Okay, the teacher guides student on mistakes by highlighting them and mentioning notes. Correction is for students, like you should be highlighting that what is the error in this and how you can come up of it. So highlight the errors. No, only tick and cross does not work. just circle it or write it something that could be helpful. Like for example, you can ask student to please draw a diagram, it might help you, like this for example. The next is the teacher writes positive remarks to encourage the student doing copy work properly. Like you should appreciate the students who are, good remarks is specific remarks. Just do not write good or excellent like that, but mention why are you saying good. For example, you can say, I can see you have mentioned each and every step. I can easily follow your thinking. It's wonderful, for example. So it is very specific. This is something that you are appreciating. So do it so that you have a proper copy work. Otherwise you won't. If you do not appreciate or do not notice, they won't do it. The teacher mentions PA when peer assessment is performed. So it is a very powerful tool whenever they are working on IXL or they are working on skills that are discussed in synthesis. You can ask a peer to check the copy of the peer sitting adjacent to him or her, and then give it back to the student. So it will reduce your time when you are checking. So some of the work is peer assisted, so it will be easier for you to check, right? The teacher must check. Oh, okay, cool downs are very effective tool. As I said, it is assessment for learning. So I'm not asking you to check each and every activity very specifically. For the activities that are discussed in classroom, for the warm up, for example, warm up do not have normally copy work. Activities have copy work, but you discuss activities in the synthesis. So you make sure that the student have made mistake. Through PA assessment, you can you can have a student check it. But when it comes to cool down is something that you have to check very carefully, and you have to write notes and whatever pattern you observe in mistakes, so that it could be guiding tool for a student. So it is compulsory, right? Okay, this is the marks distribution, very important instruction. We are allocating marks in 3 heads. End of unit assessment, as I mentioned, it could be a project, test or quiz. It would it will contribute to 40% or 40 marks. And then it comes to IXL utilization. We are not allocating marks to IXL completion, but IXL utilization, that students are giving proper time to IXL, they are doing proper copy work of it, they are following their mistakes, they are working on the assigned skills, blah blah blah. So why we are not giving marks to assigned skills? Because we want to keep IXL work to be work as a formative assessment, as a learning process. When we grade marks to it, it become a grading process, and student just manage to do it somehow by having some siblings or seniors to complete their skills, because there are marks, right? So we want to minus the evaluation process from there, but we want to evaluate their practices on IXL, whether you are using IXL effectively for their learning, or if they're doing so, we will going to give them 20 out of marks for this. And then the final term assessment of 40 marks, total 100% marks. But there is an exception. You will know for grade 8 there are no IXL marks. They will use IXL as a copy work, which is mandatory for them to do, but they do not have any marks for it. 60 marks formative assessment will be taken because we have a lot more things to ask, and there are a lot more steps and drills that we need to do for class 9. So we are evaluating and generating data accordingly. So 40% marks for end of unit assessment, and 60% marks for summative assessment for class 8. Okay, fine. So these are the links that I discussed, okay, where you need to keep your data organized. In this link you will keep the data updated when you're taking any unit assessment, take a test, and then update score here. Okay, and whatever skills you have assigned, mention the skill code and record the student scores when you are switching one unit to other, so that these data can be kept and could be used for final evaluation at the end of the term. So these are the links, write them down somewhere and maintain this data on a regular basis, please. And this is the last thing. I have missed one thing. I will get back to it. Micro teaching is something very important for all of us while we are dealing with illustrative mathematics. So what you can do, if the school does not ask you to do so, if there is no coordinator, no issue, just invite some of your colleagues, either from your own subject or from other subject. Ask them, request them to please sit in front of me, I am teaching, and please give me a feedback. Conduct a lesson plan, ask their feedback, and then implement it. Record that video when you are giving a feedback and share it with me, or for anyone who you think can give you a better feedback. uh, so must record that micro teaching and share it accordingly. So this is something, the point that I missed was in assessment. It is compulsory when you're taking unit and assessment. What you will do, if the score of the student is less than 50%, so what you will do, you will arrange an extra support class for them in coordination with the school, either in the off time or in PTM. I don't know at what time can you do it, discuss it with your school, and extra support class, and then a retest with a different test of similar nature, like design a test and take their test and update their scores, because scores are not very important for us, honestly speaking. Their learning is very important. So now if they can answer all the questions, so reward them marks, so that it is motivational for them. But even you can do it multiple times, you can take multiple extra support session and multiple retest, but only one time is compulsory. After that it's your optional, because we know your workload. So one time is optional. Either if in the second attempt student does not gain more than 50% 5, okay, fine, you have given a certain effort to it, you can go beyond, but it is not as such compulsory from us. Okay, the last point that if you think that you are small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. It is a wonderful quote that I would like to end my video with. Like for example, we are working on a change in mathematics or in holistic development of our students, and somewhere we feel that, okay, what will happen if I will change something? I'm just a teacher for a few students, but small changes contribute to pandemic, it become pandemic. So keep on doing, keep on changing yourself, keep on evaluating, keep on sharing your findings, so that you can grow yourself and bring change. Don't hesitate. Thank you so much. I hope this video, if you please do watch this video again and again, and mention all the things I have mentioned in write down some of the things I have mentioned in, and I will also share the hard copy of these instructions with all of you. Please do mention in the comments that what was good in the video, and if there is anything that I can make even better for you in the future, in the comment, and you must acknowledge in the comment, so that I know you have watched the video. Thank you so much. I will share you a short assessment on this video, so that you can make sure that you have understood this video, and you have you know you have all the instructions clear. So there was question and you need to answer them. I will share the link later. Thank you so much. Best of luck all of you.